gonna be the maiden of the Howard DGA-6 Mr. Mulligan V2 ground takeoff. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna try to get back in the frame, come back closer to the camera. It's picking up and it's getting windy. I'm gonna give it a shot anyhow, and then if it doesn't work, I'll go home. Worst case worst, its foam board will repair it. Okay, well, this plane has a real weird turn tendencies. It kind of really turns, and one wing goes really high and the other one really kind of turns on the side. Really funny. Not something that I'm used to so much. I guess there's a problem with the control surfaces and the way they're all getting the airflow. I have a problem with the motor. I think it's a calibration issue. I tried repairing it this morning, but I think I actually screwed it up and made it worse. It just doesn't want to spin, so I kind of had to help it out with the hand spin, which is why I had a hard time taking off from the ground. It's flying better this time. One of the things that I've changed, and I realized that I made a mistake, was that I had actually set deflection rates to 70, and I didn't remember that, so I was limiting myself totally, which is probably why the plane couldn't make those rolls and couldn't make sharp turns, and it felt weird. But it flew great even with those limitations. Right now I'm really high on throttle. One thing that I can tell you is that this plane definitely needs the speed. It's a need for speed plane. So a beatback motor is great for a slow flyer, but if you really want to gain some speed, then I'd say go with a bigger battery, like a 4S battery and a seatback motor. That's for starters. Of course, like I said, the flight envelope seems to be really big, so you can just really do whatever you want. Let's try to roll now that I have. Okay, well, that was like sort of a roll loop. When I apply so much throttle, it just pitches up crazy. So like Caroline Taylor said, it probably might be a thrust angle issue, so maybe a little bit of down thrust, or I'm not sure that's the problem, but I think it might be what you would call it, a thrust angle issue with the pitching. Right now I'm flying at around 50% throttle. I'm climbing up with throttle right now. So the plane is really, this is no elevator. It's pitching to the left and it's climbing up. So I guess it's a thrust angle issue. I don't know if you guys are seeing it all the time. I really want to try to gain some altitude. Okay, well, I'm having an issue. The plane is acting weird. I guess it's the motor. Glide slope, still horrible. It's actually quite an enjoyable plane. It's not edge. It's not supposed to do rolls and loops and stuff like that. At least that's my feeling. But what I definitely am expecting from this plane is to be able to carry load and to go fast. So I'm expecting that if I up the battery, up the motor, this plane will really go faster. I might even buy a 4S battery for this plane just to see how it handles. I might have a trim issue as well. I don't know. I got spectators now, which just makes me nervous. The wind is coming not from the direction which I like, which is horrible in my case. it's running late as well, so I need to get home. You can really slow it down for a pass, but you can't hold the throttle down too low for too long, because once you do, you'll basically get the plane to crash. So this is pretty much as low as I can go, and then I need to throttle up the extra. I still want to put FPV on this. Shalom.
Shalom.
Full throttle on this isn't really fast. I think I have it set on sports mode where I have it 100% of everything, so let's try to check that out. I just flipped over to sports mode. I think I can handle it sports mode. Yeah, baby. Now we're talking. This turns. Now we got that turn authority. Woohoo! Yeah, baby. Oh, sports mode. I need to change my normal to sports mode. Unless I want to train my son on this. Could be a trainer plane, you know, because I mean generally the fuselage held a few crashes. It's not as good a trainer plane, I would say, as the tiny trainer. The tiny trainer is just much simpler to build than this one is, so I mean it wouldn't be my go trainer, but it's definitely, it could be a trainer if you want to limit people to not do aerobatics. And I also think it needs a bigger prop. I think that the ailerons are not getting enough airflow, and that's really affecting the way the plane is flying. I think that also the tips of the plane are not getting enough airflow, which is also affecting the way the plane is flying. One of the main reasons why flying with the other set of wings, the Master Series wings, it was tip stalling like crazy. Because even with these wings, where there's the undercarriage on the tip, on the wing tips, and on the trailing edge of the wing, it still doesn't seem to have turns like I'm used to from other FT planes, and generally other planes that I've flown, including the Easy Edge that I've flown just a moment ago. You guys didn't see that landing, but I think that was the best landing I've ever done with any plane I've ever flown. The wind has picked up. I mean, it nosed over, but it fell back down to the place it's supposed to be. It's just amazing. I'm really pleased with myself. I think it's getting late, so I might as well go home. We'll see. Let's go get the plane first. I want to check the motor spinning issue. I think that without the prop, it's spinning. Yeah. It's weird, without the prop, it's spinning. Okay, well, I'll just finish off this battery, which I still have, and then we'll go home. I found that if you're flying and you're walking, so if you got a bird up in the air and you're walking towards a video, towards somebody, it's best to always keep the plane sort of in front of you and get it to go as slow as you possibly can. That way you don't have to loop it back to you again. If you keep it in front of you when you're walking, kind of like a dog walking beside you or a child walking beside you, then it's easier to control it and get to your destination without crashing. So I definitely have a motor prop issue here. I will definitely try this plane with a CPAC motor. I'm wondering if I want to try the other set of wings. I really do not want to break the fuselage again. It's going to be rebuilt anyhow, but the question is how much can I still practice flying this, try to understand more things from V2 before I say, okay, well, let's demolish it and get V3 back in or up in the air. So I'm not quite sure if that's the case and when I want to break a plane. And I know that with the other set, I know, I'm assuming you guys don't even see this, but with the other set of wings, I know I had problems, and this plane is actually something I'm able to, with these set of wings, the plane is actually, the fuselage, to be more exact, is actually a plane that I can control. Whenever I apply above the 70% throttle, the plane just will rise. When I'm at 50, it will glide, but I will have to use the elevator to keep it in flight. If I'm going into the wind, like right now when the wind is picking up, I'll have to up the throttle. This plane is a fast lander plane. It's not allowing you to land slow. I do have the option, and in the game plan is also the option to have on the plans the slots for the flaperons, in case anybody wants to have flaps, either flaperons or flaps in general. So just so you guys know, that's going to be on the final version of the plans. In terms of wind, it's not that stable. I mean, the wind will make it move from left to right a bit, but not something that can't be managed, not something that can't be controlled. I would say the wind is pretty strong right now, is around what I'm used to flying, not any stronger than that, but it does affect my ability to do slow flights. I need to keep the throttle up. Anyways, like I said, the plane needs a lot of throttle, this plane, so keeping the throttle down with winds on a plane that needs speed, not the smartest idea. Alright, well, something is berserking me. Something moved in the plane. I think the TP shifted. I'm going to bring it down. This is full throttle right now, so I guess the battery is dying out as well. Let's bring her in for a landing. I need to redo it. I was off the field. I was off the runway like 100%. You know what? I did a great job landing when I was just leaning on the car, so maybe that's just the way to go. Okay, well, battery's down. The motor is not III. III in Hebrew is not the best. And I'm not able to come in for a good landing. I'm always losing too much throttle. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, that wasn't on the runway, that was off the runway. I'm gonna go get the plane, pack up, and go home for today.